Okay, everybody, welcome back once again. Friday, 12 to 1 is the Entrepreneurial Hour, the Entrepreneurial Web Hour, the hour of the entrepreneurial web. I'm making it up as I go along, I swear to God. I was listening to Joe Rogan today. He got me fired up, thinking about comedy, but also just being silly. So if you're just tuning in, our last portion of the show, we were with Nick Lozano in Washington, D.C. He is a podcast host and producer, as well as a technology consultant, but he's also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blue belt, and we were talking about the benefits and the components of Jiu-Jitsu and martial arts training and fitness that have helped improve your business savvy. Now we are zooming into Fargo, North Dakota, the North Dakota-Minnesota border. Will be a little on each side, as I understand it. I don't know, never been there. With Thane Taylor. He is the everyday workout man. I think I'm going to get this number wrong, but I believe it is a 2,632-day workout challenge. Welcome to the show, Thane.
Thank you. Yes, you got the number right. It's nice to be here.
Did I? That's amazing. Yep, that's right. I was like, I am for sure going to fuck this up. And I dug deep. It's because I worked out this morning. Did you work out this morning?
I do. I usually do evenings. So normally it's like a little 10-minute stretch yoga thing in the morning. And then usually like 10:30 at night, something like that. So
that's when you work out at 10:30 at night?
Yeah, usually, yeah.
Oh man, no, I'm usually still working then. I love to get up first thing in the morning and just bang out like an hour easy and then go about the rest of my day. And before everything got shut down, I would usually do another one at night if possible.
I've never been a morning person, so.
Oh man, I love nothing more to wake up and make a couple of shots of espresso and just like hit it, boom, right. and then it's like I can do whatever else I want. If I want to eat, funnel cakes later in the day, I don't feel guilty. I'm like, I worked out already. It's all right.
Yeah, I get it. Makes sense.
So tell everybody a little bit about yourself in terms of we'll kind of split this portion into two halves. The first half, we'll talk about your business background. You are the owner of a Mathnasium. I knew I was going to mess up some pronunciation. Mathnasium franchise, correct?
That's right.
So give us the story.
So Mathnasium in Fargo. It's the first one in North Dakota, and I'm the owner operator of it. Opened September of 2018, so a little coming up on 2 years now, and it's great. I love it so far. My background is actually in chemistry, so got a master's in chemistry. I was on my way to pursue a PhD, and I was teaching at the Evergreen State College in Olympia, Washington. It was great. If I were to teach anywhere, that would be the type of setting that I would do, because it's just like all about education and just that's the primary focus, and I love that part of it. But I realized during my time there that the things that I wanted, or I thought I wanted to do prior to that, was teach at some big university. But going along that career path, it would just be a lot more research intensive than I wanted, and I really wanted to just focus on education. So I just stopped doing that. And the alternative to that was to go into industry, be in a lab setting. And I knew I didn't want to do that either. So took a little break from that. I invested in my family business, which is completely different than chemistry. Is actually a restaurant, Thai restaurant, and some sushi.
A little chemistry in there.
A little bit. You could apply some. But yeah,
get that umami.
That's right. Oh, it's great. I'm actually growing some wasabi plants in my garden right now. So
nice. Awesome.
But I did that for a little while, and then after a year or two, a couple years, I really wanted to, find a way to get back into education. And a family friend of ours had a Mathnasium franchise in Mankato, and really mentored me, took me under her wing, and got the opportunity to open one up in Fargo, and it's been great.
That's awesome. And it focuses on mainly school-age children, correct?
Yep, second grade through high school. Yep. So
just go ahead.
So basically what any kid that's going to school right now that is either struggling or wanting to get a little bit more of a challenge, they contact us. We find out where they're at and see what foundational skills they could benefit from, and then we develop learning plans for them. They come in and then get instruction to see how we could maybe present the material in a way that makes sense, and then kind of go from there.
And you were mentioning to me yesterday that it is a brick and mortar location in Fargo, but you've had to go pretty much virtual since March.
That's right.
Correct?
Exactly. Yep. So up until March of this year, it's just been exclusively brick and mortar. So in-person instruction, we got instructors that are excellent people. We have our kids just come in for hour-long sessions. It's really been a great thing. But then, COVID restrictions have kind of forced us to change, the way our business runs. And luckily, as part of the franchise, they've been, Mathnasium has kind of been playing with an online option for quite some time. It was in development for, mostly for people that are a little bit too far away from locations to get access to it, because, this one, for example, this one's the only one in North Dakota. So people in Bismarck, or on the other side of North Dakota really don't have access to a Mathnasium locations. So that was in development, but it was set to roll out within, another year or so. So they really had to amplify that and speed things up. Throughout the nation, I think they had like 500 people in the country that were streaming at one time. And they had to boost that up to have capacity to like 20,000 people at a time.
Yeah.
So it's just, that part was a little bit crazy, but I'm so grateful that they had that available to us. So yeah, right now, we did the past, 2 months or so exclusively online. Now it's more of a hybrid thing. So some online, some in person, and we've got restrictions in place to keep everything safe when we're in person. So it's been pretty good.
And is summertime usually a slow time for that business because kids are out of school, or is it something that you all still see a pretty steady flow because just the go-getters are the people that are trying to get ahead?
Right. So actually, let's see, June is usually a really, really big time. So start of the summer, because people don't want that. They're just called a summer slide, right? So if you, go from constant schooling to just basically nothing, you really see a dip in what you retain and your skill sets. So we do see a pretty big increase in summer scheduling. So that's great. This year has been just off the wall. It's crazy because but the patterns that you expect is just, I have no idea what to expect. So still trying to figure out the trends. Local trends vary, depending on what works for each location. But we do see a bump in summer, one in kind of back to school, and then one around New Year's when get the grades from the previous trends.
You're like, Billy, you got to step it up.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just doing spreadsheets last night for the restaurant, and I was just looking at it, and I'm like, why am I even bothering? Like, there's no, I usually put a lot of information in it just to keep those trends up, and I was like, it's all gone. And then when we come back, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be like 2018 again. I mean, I guess it's good information to have, but I used to kind of harp on it, and now I'm just like, I'm just going to document. I'm not going to take it too seriously. Like, the numbers are the most important thing.
Exactly.
It's all different. I'm curious, something that was mentioned earlier just made me think about this, because I know you know a good amount about nutrition as it applies to fitness. With your background in chemistry, but also in restaurants, how familiar with amino acids, particularly like glutamate, are you? Are you familiar with that whole? It's something I just started to scratch the surface of.
It's funny. My master's degree is actually in bioanalytical chemistry, and what that is studies molecular events using just kind of cool lasers and things like that, and different approaches. But I didn't really take any. I took intro biology and the required biochemistry courses, but honestly, how that stuff applies in regular day, it doesn't really interest me, to be honest. So I don't really pay attention to it. So just kind of do a somewhat what I feel is a common sense approach to it, and I kind of leave it at that. But that's kind of my take on nutrition. I know some people really dig into it, but that's really not for me, I suppose.
Yeah, and the interesting part about that is like it's less about nutrition and more about like the whole idea behind umami, which is uh, it's like a sensory thing, you know, where it translates to the brain through amino acids and neurotransmitters in your tongue, but it's actually amino acids. Again, it's something I got a couple books earlier in the year about it, and I was just like, whoa! I always just thought about amino acids as like, you know, building blocks for protein. It was something my dad always talked a lot about being a bodybuilder. Um,
Right.
then when I realized like it was attached to mental health and you could achieve it through food, I was like, oh my God, like no wonder I love food
You
so much.
dabbling in gastro food things or what? Like
In terms of, what do you mean
playing around
specifically?
with different types of fancy foams and things like that as applies to food chemistry.
No, no, like you just said, I kind of keep it more on the simple. And I never try to get into too many processes that are not available just like completely naturally. Like if it's super overproduced and it wouldn't
Sure.
be widely available in the past or possibly in the future, looking at the way things are going, I don't spend too much time with it because I don't want to get too connected to something that's just not going to be around. I
Yeah.
always search for things that are like tried and true and tested, you know, and true that we could practice. And if there is some legacy to any of this, like people down the road will be like, oh, okay, this is something that's been done for a while. Like we can continue with this. So I was just curious, you know,
Yep.
less from the workout side, but more from like the chemistry and food side of things. It's just something I dabbled in recently.
Yep.
It's kind of blowing my mind a little bit. Cool. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about your everyday workout man challenge and give all of our listeners the lowdown
Definitely.
on like the load of this 2,632 days. Got to get it right again.
That's right. Yep. On a roll. I like that.
All right, cool. We'll be back in just a minute, everybody. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Last portion of the show. Once again, we are doing a focus here on the focus that you get from fitness and how it applies to your business acumen, your business lifestyle, your business approach. Right now, we are zooming in to Fargo, North Dakota with Thane Taylor. He is a franchise owner in Mathnasium. He has a chemistry background, also some investment time in restaurants, but he has this crazy workout challenge called the Everyday Workout Man. It is a 2,632 day workout challenge. Did I get it right again?
Again. Yep.
I got this one committed to memory, man. If I mess this up ever again, I'm useless. So tell us about this challenge, because this is like, I've never heard of anything like this. I've heard some crazy, like, it's like, you know, get your black belt. Like, sure, that's like an 8-year thing, but there's like, you can take like time off. What is up with this like 2,000 day challenge? It's every day, right?
Every day. Yeah. So let's see. I started this back in September of 2016. So right now, today is going to be day 1383, I believe. So, you know,
so you're just over halfway.
Yeah, a little over halfway. The whole thing is 7.21 years. So the reason I got into it is because prior to the challenge, I'd always been kind of an active person. So, you know, I did wrestling and some soccer growing up. But after that, into grad school and afterwards, I was still working out. But, sometimes, there'd be times when I would just like not be super intentional about it. Mm-hmm. And then I would just get like a little bit not super confident, and then I get cranky and irritable. So I decided I'd just be done with that phase. So I was like, okay, it's better for me to kind of constantly be in a state of fitness. I feel really good and confident about my body. It does what I want it to do, and I'm healthy. So I really want to maintain that level of activity and being fit. So the 30, 60, 90-day challenges is basically like, if you sprint and then you stop, and then I really don't want to like have that stopping thing, because that just like ruins everything for me. And then you got to build up the inertia again. So I decided to take it, another level, and then go 2000
or like 5.
Do you know what the significance of that number is?
No, that was going to be my next question.
Oh, sure. So I was looking at like just streaks throughout history that were like very, very, very impressive.
Mm.
So then, Brett Favre comes to mind, other sports people come to mind, but Cal Ripken Jr., that's his consecutive games played streak. So
Gotcha.
I figure if that gets him into Hall of Fame, something like that has got to do, something good for me, right? So
have you talked to Cal about this? Does he know this?
I haven't. I don't think he doesn't know about it. So this
you
could be
gotta that's a tweet right there, man. So Thane and I connected through Twitter. That's how this whole thing happened. Again, I've never been to North Dakota. I don't know. Have you ever been to New York?
I've been, yeah. My sister is a OBGYN in New York, and I've
cool.
Yeah,
nice. At a hospital, or does she have a clinic?
She's got a I forget which one it is, but yeah, she's
cool.
Have
you ever been to MoMath, the MoMath Museum? So I've mentioned to you, my wife is a math director at a high school here in Manhattan, and it's an extension of the MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art, and it's right near Gramercy Park or Herald Square. It's a math museum. Like, that's what came to mind when you were like, I own a Mathnasium, and I was like, is that like MoMath? You might enjoy that. I go there and I'm like, oh, I want to wrestle.
That's awesome. Yeah, if I'm back in New York anytime, I'll be sure to touch base with you. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. You should check it out. So, I think you should tweet that and tag Cal and see if you don't get a little bump from that, because that's an honor, and I'm sure he's an aged dude. People probably aren't talking about him as much as they were like when we were kids when he was the man.
Yeah, leave it to me to make Cal Ripken relevant again, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Wow. So you set the bar high. So that seems like one of the benefits. And another thing you said that really stuck out to me just then was the intent. You were like, there's a certain level of intent behind, or lack of, when you're doing the shorter challenges, but like the intent behind like a huge challenge like this. And the same is true of like getting your black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And they're constantly talking about your intent. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Does it lend itself to the long, to the marathon, or is it more of a sprint based thing? Like, so like just being reflective and thinking about your actions. Another thing that you do constantly is you post videos of your movements, of your drills, of your workouts, and there's a lot of benefit you personally get from that, right? Just the analyzation of seeing your own videos. So you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, sure. So I just started that portion of it relatively recently, within the past couple months. Because I'm kind of more extroverted. A thing that I do is do Facebook Live videos in my workouts, and because it kind of gives me like a pseudo workout partner. Mm-hmm. So I basically talk to the camera like somebody's watching. Sometimes people stop in and actually comment and stuff, but mostly it's for my benefit. And afterwards, what I do is analyze that video a little bit. Not super in depth, but then if I look at the squats and it's a little bit off, or the deadlifts, the back form and kettlebell swings, documenting things and then being able to take a look at that and then do little minor tweaks here and there. Twitter's been great for sharing that, because so many people have just such amazing insight into minor things you can do to improve, or why don't you do this, it'll help with grip strength, or there's so much like free knowledge out there. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've enjoyed him as well. And the thing I like the most about him is your lack of ego in it, where you'll say, like, your captions are like, hey, what do you guys think about this? Or like, how can I improve this? Like, this feels like this. Anybody know anything about that? Where you're not like, look at me.
Right.
Like, look at my great form. It's very humble, and I appreciate that about it. Although that concrete ball you were throwing around.
A concrete ball. I've got some big things planned for that. So it's it's right now it's curing. So I've got a couple more days. I'm gonna paint it. I've got a nice paint job planned out for that, and I've got a couple more coming out. So
you know what it reminded me of? When I used to make pizza. I was a pizza man. It's like it's how I like wooed my wife. She came into my restaurant and I was like tossing pizzas up in the front. It was hilarious. Mm-hmm. But when we would make the huge things of dough, you just would like grab it out, and it was that same kind of motion, and you just, but it was like, you know, amorphous. It's like going all over the place, and you had to get it up on the dough rolling table, and you know, that was like always higher. And I was like 18 at the time. I think I weighed like 125 pounds, and I'm like wrestling with this thing, but it was always the challenge. Like it was like your sign of manhood. Like you could actually get the dough ball up without pulling the whole basket and everything out. It just reminded me of that. It was pretty funny. So before we wrap up here, can you give a couple examples of, we discussed mentioned a couple things, but how has this challenge helped you on the business side of things? What has it done? What are like one or two benefits you've gotten from putting this challenge up in front of yourself and then actually following through with it every day?
Sure. So there's a level of accountability to doing this. And one thing that I think applies to everything in life is to be accountable and hold yourself accountable to absolutely everything. If you can control something and you want it to change, there's no point in dwelling on it or being cranky about it. Just do it, right? A couple of things that also apply is that I've been kind of building this into other facets of my life. So like, if you want to do something, find a program and then, be intentional about it. If it doesn't work, adjust and then keep going. And that's basically it. Progressive improvement is also one other huge thing. You apply that to everything. Don't just go through the motions, try to continuously get better. And if you do that, the program, progressive improvement, be intentional about it, is going to go a really, really long way. It's kind of, seeped into every aspect of my life. So that's been pretty cool.
That's awesome. That's very jujitsu. I'm telling you, man, there's a dojo out there just waiting for you.
Yeah.
Because like all of your posts, everything you say, it's just, I'm like, I find jujitsu in it, and you wrestled.
Yeah.
It's the natural progression.
There's one in by my hometown. I really like the idea of it. That's kind of the next step.
Yeah.
Find a way to get into there. So I've got a gi on and everything.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're ready, man. You're ready. You should do it. Take the plunge. Let me know when you do. I'd love to hear about it.
Definitely.
So before we wrap up here, we got about 1 minute left. Where can people find out information about your workout challenge, about your school, about anything?
Sure. So I document everything for my workout challenge, www.everydayworkoutman.com. Most active on Twitter, so @eDayWorkoutMan. And with regards to the Mathnasium, it's Mathnasium.com/Fargo. Yeah. So
2632.
Yeah, that's right. That's all I got in my mind. So, yeah, again, everydayworkoutman.com is basically where I document everything and have all my social links up and everything. So,
but you're also on Facebook and Instagram with that as well.
Exactly. Yep, that's right.
All right. So jiu-jitsu and LinkedIn, those are your new frontiers.
Those are my new things. Okay, I'll put it on the list.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much. It was really great to connect. And definitely, if you make your way to New York, hit me up, and I look forward to keeping up with everything, especially on Twitter.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hey, my pleasure. All right, everybody. I hope you got some really good information from this. Stay active, stay sharp, go get it done. Have a great weekend. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. Peace.